This is IB Times TV, Friday, August 12th. I'm Kate Cameron Lau. Astronomers have discovered a dark alien planet orbiting a distant star that is blacker than coal. Known as TRES-2b, the Jupiter-sized gas giant reflects less than 1% of the sunlight falling on it, making it darker than any planet or moon in the solar system. In a paper released by the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics, leading author David Kipping explained that it's considerably less reflective than black acrylic paint, and in contrast to Jupiter, which is draped in bright clouds of ammonia that reflect more than a third of the sunlight reaching it, due to the planet's proximity to its sun and its scorchingly hot temperatures, likely upwards of 1,200 degrees Celsius, this planet lacks any semblance of reflective clouds. And according to co-author David Spiegel of Princeton University, while it's believed that the planet's exotic atmosphere most likely contains light-absorbing chemicals like vaporized sodium and potassium or gaseous titanium oxide, it's still not clear what's responsible for making the planet so extraordinarily dark. He added that as dark as it is, it's not completely pitch black, but that it's so hot it emits a faint glow, much like the coils on an electric stove. The dark planet orbits the sun approximately 750 light-years away in the direction of the constellation Draco. To put it in perspective, 1 light-year is equal to about 6 trillion miles. The team monitoring TRES-2b was able to locate and determine the reflectivity of the mysterious world using NASA's Kepler spacecraft, which is designed to measure the brightness of distant stars with extreme precision. The planet is also believed to be tidally locked, like our moon, causing one side to perpetually face its sun and the total brightness of the planet to vary. According to Kipping, observations from over 50 orbits and the precision of Kepler were able to detect the smallest ever change in variation in brightness from an exoplanet and even monitor visible light from the planet itself. Their research will be published in the journal Monthly Notices of the Royal Astronomical Society. Kate Cameron Lau, IB Times TV.
Hi guys, this is fresh news of Yahoo.com. Coal black alien planet is darkest ever seen. An alien world blacker than coal, the darkest planet known, has been discovered in the galaxy. The world in question is a giant the size of Jupiter, known as TRES-2b. NASA's Kepler spacecraft detected it lurking around the yellow sun-like star GSC, some 750 light-years away in the direction of the constellation Draco. The researchers found that this gas giant reflects less than 1% of the sunlight falling on it, making it darker than any planet or moon seen up to now. It's just ridiculous how dark this planet is, how alien it is compared to anything we have in our solar system. Study-led author David Kipping, an astronomer at the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics, told Space.com. It's darker than the blackest lump of coal, than dark acrylic paint you might paint with. It's bizarre how this huge planet became so absorbent of all the light that hits it. So there you have it, all you debunkers, non-believers, and as I prefer to call you, assholes. There you see that there are strange planets and they are detecting them first now. And obviously because they have detected the cold black alien planet that is approaching us. They have developed technology to see them, and therefore they can also see other similar planets throughout the galaxy. This is subliminal information for the ones awake. Okay, just wanted to report on that. Take care and be prepared.
Hey people, Paul Muckle here. Today is August 10th, 2011, right? People, the moon is huge. It's right there. Remember, on the 8th, today the 10th, on the 8th I showed you all the moon was 3/4. People, now it's almost full. Okay, the cloud, I didn't get it in time because I was trying to get the dogs inside. I started to rain, and the moon was outside when it was raining. By the time I came back, the moon is gone. But it's right there, people. It's right in this direction, and it's huge. Okay, people, it's huge. Within just 2 days, it's a phenomenon. Okay, the moon is right above this tree right here, and it's causing these thunder. The moon and the sun is causing these thunders. Because the sun is striking, it's sending lightning towards the moon. It's like. Hey people, Paul Muckle here. August 10th, 2011. Here goes the moon. Look at that, how big it's, how fast it's getting to be a super moon, people. Look how quickly it's becoming a super moon, huh? I showed it to you on the 8th. Right? Remember how it looked on the 8th when I showed it to you? Now look how fast it's getting. It's getting to be right. It's getting to be a super moon. It's not gonna come where I want it to come. It's too far away. But it's gonna get a little bit closer though. I'm not giving up hope though. I'm still trying to get it to come between the gate. You know, I want to come between the gate. I'm still trying. But no sweat. What does that look like? What does that form, people? I don't know. Like a man with the sun on his back. His hand is, he's down. His hand is behind his back and up to hold up the moon. Just like a sculpture, I see. Don't pay me no attention, okay? I'm just being imaginative. And I could see a lion with his moon on his back. Alright, that's all for now, folks. Actually, I'm going back out. Just about 4. Today the 10th, so wow, huh? By the 12th, we have super moon by the 12th. So people imagine that, right? The first super full moon was March 19, 2011. The first one. Now it's coming on August 12th. So you see the days, it's like the days are what, shorter or longer? The nights are shorter, the days longer. That's what's going on, people, okay? Our world, it's like the world is speeding up, but we don't realize it. But if you watch the moon, you'll realize it, because the moon have to go through its cycle, okay? The moon cannot go around the moon cannot go through the cycle any faster than the earth is spinning. So if the moon is going through the cycle so quickly, it means that our earth is going through it quickly too, people, okay? We went from a full moon, super full moon from March 19th, okay, to a super full moon by August 12th. That's a whole week faster. Because no matter that the days, some days are 20, are 30 and 31, that doesn't matter. The moon still going through its cycle. The moon still go through its full cycle, and this moon is going through its cycle so quickly. Okay, on earth as it is in heaven. Okay. So if the moon is going so fast, it means the sun, it means that the earth has speed up and the sun and the moon has speed up. We are traveling at a faster pace, people. Okay? Just follow the moon, because they are for signs and seasons, okay? The moons are for days and nights and signs and seasons. So if we know that the moon, every 28 days, the moon goes from whatever, from a quarter to a full in 28 to 30 days. Okay, we know that for a fact. We know we know that for a fact, right? And then you go from March 19th, okay, to August 12th. I mean, by tomorrow, say August 11th, because August 11th, it'll be full. By tomorrow, it's gonna be a full moon. So, but whether it's 11th or it's at 12th, it's still like a whole week. So, You telling me now the moon went to a cycle in 21 days? Going to a cycle in 21 days now? So the months are 21 days now? Our Earth has speed up its rotation. Think about the people, and it's time for that we demand that, oh, well, that's a joke. I was going to say to demand that the government tell us the truth, but that's a joke. The government is feeding the flock for slaughter. They're not telling us that somehow that we are broken some kind of gravitational pull. We are broken something. You know, and now follow the moon and you'll realize it. But our Lord, my Lord is so beautiful that He won't let us feel the effect because we'll die. Okay? So you see people, our consciousness is speeding up. Oh, I get it, people, I get it. Our consciousness, we are awakening. So when we are awake, that means the earth is going fast, and that means our consciousness is awakening. That means we're going to a higher level. People, watch this, right? We are going to a higher level of understanding. The earth is speeding up its rotation. Just follow the moon and you'll be able to tell it. The moon is not supposed to be here today. The moon is supposed to be further west. Okay, I know because I've been tracking it for a while now. Okay? And the serious Orion belt have twisted a thing, people. I think these are twisted because last year, July, right, Sirius was in the back, at the bottom of the Orion system. And people now I see, sorry, I ran out of it shut off. Like I was saying, people, last July I saw Sirius, and Sirius was at the bottom. Okay? The first star to rise was, it was actually Aldebaran, right? But however, Aldebaran is rising first now, but it's not different. It's not different direction, right? Sirius now it's twisted. It's not totally different from what I see so far. It's not totally different direction, people. I see Sirius is like it's in the front now. It's hiding behind the tree, but by the time the light comes up, right? By the time I can see it, the sun is up, so it blinks it out. It come behind this tree right here, but you can't see it. But like I was saying, people, it looks to me like Sirius has twisted. Like Sirius is now at the top. Like, because Rigel was at the bottom with Sirius, and Betelgeuse was at the top of the cross, but now it looks like Betelgeuse is at the bottom now. But how could that be? Anyway, I'm gonna wait maybe another week or so, and I'll be able to tell you all. But something strange is going on. I'm not seeing things. Something's going on, people. And why is there something missing in Google Maps? That's what they hide in. Because Sirius is a winged planet. Okay, the rainbow planet is Sirius. Okay, that's the winged planet you all see next to the sun, the big one. That's Sirius. Okay. So, what is NASA hiding? Why is there a big blotch in Google that you can't see? So, people, we had something dramatic went on in our world, and stay tuned for more, because I think that we are becoming enlightened. Okay, we are becoming in our true form because we are children of the light. Okay, I think we are becoming. At least I know. I think I am. You know, you don't have to be physical, but spiritually. You know. So anyway, my battery is blinking, so I know it's about to die. And I'm gonna shut off right now. And hey people, by the way, do you all know that Jesus Christ was never born? I mean, I could prove, use your Bible, right? I'm gonna make a video. I'm gonna prove to you all in a video, right people? I promise you, no lie, my word. I will use the Holy Bible and I'll prove to you that it was impossible for Christ to have been born. You know why? Because the lineage was cut off with Solomon's son. That's where how Christ was never born, because The son that Christ would have come from died as a child. Abijah. Abijah died as a child. So if Abijah died as a child, that means the lineage was cut. Abijah is the son of Solomon. So y'all start researching and I'll make a video soon to prove to you that Christ, it was an impossibility for Christ for being born. Because the lineage was cut. Okay, people? One love. Christ died, born and died for our sin. Wow, what a ridiculous concept.
Many theorists upon the ideas of Nibiru and Planet X have suggested that their ideas may be proven by ancient impacts. When we look at the Moon or Mars, we see they are covered in the scars of history. Indeed, it has been suggested by a great many scientists that Mars was impacted by a large object billions of years ago. How is that proof of a present-day possibility of a planet or planetoid-sized object impacting one of the major planets? Does that really seem to be logical to assume that there would be an impact simply because, oh, it's happened in the past? I think it's interesting though, because it does show the history of the solar system to a degree. Looking at all the craters, whether on the Earth, the Moon, Mars, or elsewhere. But that's not proof of a Planet X or Nibiru. It's proof these major events happened in the past, where large bodies could smash into each other. Indeed, it has been suggested with the Moon that in the early existence of the Earth, the body which is now known as the Moon impacted the Earth, and over the course of time it became our large satellite, explaining why we have such a large satellite in the first place. Because the Moon was allegedly, according to theory, an object which was roughly the size of Mars. It impacted the Earth as it was, and because they impacted and they shared the same material, it explains why the Moon and the Earth have the same material, the same sort of composition. And naturally that satellite majority broke apart, and over the course of literally billions of years was able to more or less reconstruct its mass as a small planet in satellite orbit of the Earth. And if it had not been for that impact, and if it had not been for the Moon's presence around the Earth over the course of the last several billion years, then it's theoretically possible that life on Earth may have not come about. And the impact itself very probably was the creator of our electromagnetic field, which protects us from much of the sun's radiation. Now, it seems like an alternative story had happened with Mars, where Mars was struck by a planet, a small planet. It's theoretical because we don't know the full facts. And rather than actually helping out Mars, it very probably obliterated any atmosphere that was, or any life which may have been. So there could have been life on Mars back then, billions of years ago, but it was wiped out by this impact. Whereas this planet, which may have just been a lifeless hunk of rock, it may have had life, who knows. was sprung into action, and over a very, very long period became slowly but surely inhabitable. I guess that's what you call a twist of fate. But back to the Nibiru issue. It's not proof of any future impact. It's simply interesting how impacts of the past have been. So there's nothing evidential there for Nibiru. I would say almost regrettably. But it does thicken the plot and the nature of our solar system, especially the early solar system, where so many different events were happening.
Back in the 1950s, most people aren't aware of it, but there was a scientific storm in America all through the late 50s about this thing out there in space, because the astronomers were all watching it, and that was back when they weren't afraid to talk about it. It was in the science magazines. I mean, I had a subscription to, like, Popular Science, and hell, it was on the front cover of the magazine one day in, like, 1961. And I was really excited when I saw it, because here's this giant red planet on the horizon of the California coast, and a humongous tidal wave coming in towards the coast, and having grew up in the mountains of the Sierras, and this thing in the magazine, it said this tidal wave coming in was going to be at least 3 miles high, and I went in and showed it to everybody in the house, and they laughed, and they said, look, it says right here, there's nothing to worry about. It won't be here for another 50 years. Hey, guess what? That 50 years has came and gone. And this baby's out there in the sky. They've been watching it. I watched it. And I can tell you, this thing has got so much trash coming around it. You know how we live in a solar system? We've got 9 planets and a big sun. This thing has got 7 planets and its own sun. But I believe that instead of having dirt on it like our planet does and water, I think this thing is just a big, bright reddish-orange iron ball, because it's giving off all this red iron oxide dust out into the atmosphere. When we thought at first it was just a teeny little red speck of fuzzy red dust in the distance, but over the years as it went by and we watched it, it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And then finally, about '08, we could see this thing like it was across the street, and we could see that it was a blazing hot ball of fire giving out sparkles of red iron oxide dust for thousands of miles in every direction, and you could see the planet circulating it. Now, I'll tell you one thing that I really am nervous about. I think this thing's got a planet like ours circling it. This is its own solar system. We're about to have a solar system come through the middle of our solar system. This can't be good. But unfortunately, it looks as though that's what's going to happen. Hopefully nothing in this mess will hit us, even though it does say it will in the Bible, at least it does in my Bible. It says we can expect all kinds of problems. We were looking at asteroids. Right close to this thing, there's asteroids that are floating around right near that are orbiting the main sun itself. These things appear to be about 500 miles across, and as you go back into the tail, you get into meteorites that go back for millions of miles in the tail. This thing looks like a giant red teardrop-shaped dust cloud, and you can see if you're able to see it up close like we did, you can see every speck out there. I guarantee you, there's trillions of meteorites following this thing. Now, these CIA people that I know say that we're not going to be that close to it when it goes past us. They're saying that in order to attain breakaway speed, when it comes up around the backside of the sun, its speed will at least double, possibly more, which will put it here earlier than everybody is saying it will, and that this thing will probably be about 20 million miles from us when it crosses in front of us. And then as soon as it flips us upside down, we're going to go into its debris-filled tail and be pelted with meteorites. And, of course, in the Bible it says they will talon 70 pounds. So if you've got 70-pound meteorites falling like hail, and I can guarantee you they will be falling like hail because there are that many in the tail of this thing. This thing has got a tail loaded with trash. I mean, it's incredible the amount of stuff that's in this thing's tail. And we're going to go right through that tail, and if it doesn't beat everything on the surface of the ground into a flat putty, I don't know what it'll take. I tell everybody, you better be at least 20, 30, 40, 50 feet underground and have either concrete or stone above you, because it'll break through the roof or whatever you've got if you don't. These CIA guys told me that this pole shift will probably happen from start to finish in around 28 minutes. That doesn't give you a lot of warning. When you see that thing out there in the sky, you're going to have to run as fast as you can to your underground facility, because this is going to happen so fast. Now, see, here's another thing nobody's talking about. You've got this giant iron planet that they say is 47,000 miles across, getting ready to come up past us, and when it starts to approach us, it's going to start and have real serious effects.
So is it a planet or a failed star?
It's not a failed star. You know, I saw this thing up close. It did not look like a failed star. It looked just like our sun.
Right.
Okay. Would you call our sun a failed star?
No. Okay. Well, you had said planet. I wasn't sure if it was like a failed star, brown dwarf, or a full sun. So it's a full sun?
It looks to me like a miniature sun, just like the one we have. The only difference is our sun is giving off flames and stuff, and this one's doing the same thing as it, but it's giving off this red iron oxide cloud of dust around it, and until it got close, we couldn't even tell what was in there. We could see it was hot, and it looked like it was just a dull red when we were first able to discern it through the red cloud, but as it approached, it started to become more apparent that this thing is just orange hot. I mean, to tell how hot it is, I was told that they estimated between 5 and 10 million degrees, but, you know, I don't really know, if that's right or not. I mean, it's got to be pretty hot, because it's sending all of this red iron oxide dust out into space around it.
Right.
And it's got this enormous, and I mean enormous, at least 50 or 100,000 miles on each side of it, this red dust cloud that goes all the way around it. I know when we were watching it, as it started to make the upward swing to approach behind our sun, it was amazing. The red dust cloud settled down. Instead of being round, it started to settle down into a V, like wings, upside-down wings.
Right.
And I thought, boy, I wonder if that's where the ancient Sumerians got the idea this thing had wings, because, you know, centrifugal force is a funny thing. When it comes back up around the planet, when we see it in the sky, my guess is it's going to look like it's got wings, because centrifugal force is going to be pulling the red iron oxide dust and particles out to one side, and then as it starts to climb out and go away from us, listen, I was told that this thing's magnetic field is going to be so strong, anybody that does not have a padded lead helmet to wear will have their brain gutted for everything they ever knew, and they'll be a complete raving moron after this thing passes. They'll they won't know, they'll pee in their pants. They won't have a clue what's going on, because this thing will gut their brain. And you know, I was reading a deal in my Bible. It says that after this happens, that nobody will care because they won't be able to remember it. Well, of course, I was told by somebody the reason that is because the electromagnetic field from this thing will be so strong, because, see, as it comes up underneath of us, it's going to start and pull us toward it. And then, just like a pair of big magnets, all of a sudden it's going to lock onto us. And when it does, it's going to be like the Jolly Green Giant hit the earth in the ass. It's going to send a jolt 500 to 1,000 foot high. This is what I'm told. 500 to 1,000 foot high shock waves all the way around planet Earth. They'll be so bad that in a lot of areas that don't have good solid soil, it'll fluff it so badly that you'll practically be like you're standing in quicksand. And that this thing's magnetic field will literally gut your brain of everything. And so you may want to give some thoughts to getting you some sheet lead, build you a little lead helmet to wear, you know, like a little motorcycle helmet to protect your entire brain and the back of your neck, so that way this can't happen. Because, you know, if these guys are right about this, and I'm pretty sure they are, because I know for a fact they know what they're talking about when they say stuff. And so, you know, and it does sound reasonable to me, knowing what I do about electromagnetic energy, that this could happen. And it very easily could gut everybody's brain for everything they ever knew, and they'll stand there and pee in their pants and go, gee, what was that? And that's if they still know how to talk. And there won't be any doubt in anybody's mind, because this thing's going to look like a big red dragon, exactly like all the ancient Sumerians and the Chinese and all the rest of them that had documented this thing's passing before. It didn't look like a white ball or a snow cloud or nothing. It looked like a big red iron oxide dust cloud with a superheated star in the middle of it. And I mean, you know, and that's what we've seen. So, you know, I don't care what anybody else says. There's a possibility. There's more than one thing out there. You know, I watched it through the Hubble Space Telescope, and when this thing looked like it was across the street, the Hubble got cut off and they encrypted it, and that was the end of any transmissions we had to watch. And we know that the Hubble, in order to be in the shadow of the Earth, had to be at an angle, and so that meant it was looking downward, and this thing was coming up underneath of us. And I tell you the honest to God truth, I personally think this thing is real close to us right now, but you know, that's just my general feeling that you know, and I'm a pretty psychic guy. I have the feeling that this thing is right close by and that we're going to see it any time. I mean, I've been doing everything I could do to get prepared for it. I'm really worried about what Jesus says. You know, when the fig tree is putting on its leaves, know that summer is near, and I'm at your door. And that worries me more than probably anything I've read in the Bible about this whole thing, the parable of the fig tree, because everything seems to be in place for this thing's arrival. And the bad thing is, he says, I'm going to come like a thief in the night. Well, it does also say in the Bible that I'm going to make the sun go down at noontime in Jerusalem. Okay, if that's the case, there's only one thing that'll make the sun go down, not hit the horizon, go down at noontime, and that's if the planet experiences a pole shift.
Okay, I got a quick question that you can probably answer really quickly and then continue from the chat room. Wants to know if you're talking about Planet X or Elenin, and I don't think, I've never thought Elenin is Planet X. Terrell's pretty stuck on that, but I think Elenin, as a result of it, it's a comet that's been kicked in.
Elenin is extinction level event Nibiru is near.
Right.
Does that explain it?
Yeah.
Okay, because listen, they've known about this thing forever. And I mean, they've known about it forever. I mean, if I read about it in a science magazine in 1961, that tells you that, I mean, it's only 1,800 years away. How could they not be able to see it when it came around the backside of the last sun and headed this way?
Right.
You have to know they've been watching it, because if you know, Carl Sagan was showing stuff that they took with their old telescopes that was billions and billions of miles away, and this thing's only 1,800 years away. Well, and by 1930 it was only 70 years away. You know, we do estimate that this thing, let me give you a thing, maybe you can figure out your own timeline. We estimated that this thing is traveling around 3,500 miles an hour, okay?
Okay.
That was our estimate of its speed. Now, it has been picking up speed, and that's the reason why we think it's going to arrive early, because when it comes around the backside of the sun, it's got to double that speed in order to attain breakaway speed to leave the sun and not wind up orbiting it. It's never orbited the sun in the past that we know of, so that means that it's going to have to attain breakaway speed to head back out into space. Now, you look at the NASA videos, photos, and all this other crap those morons put on the internet. This thing is coming in. It's going to, as soon as it goes around the top of the sun, it's going to go back out into space.
Right.
And it's going to do this really fast. When it goes past us, it's going to go past us so fast that we'll almost have no time to get ready. That's my opinion. But, you know, just drawing it out on paper a few times and thinking about it, and I went, you know, if this thing picks up enough speed to make breakaway speed, then that means it's going to come past us. You know, this thing, according to what I was told, is that this thing is approximately 47,000 miles in diameter, you know, 4 or 5 times the size of the Earth, and it'll come past us, and we won't have a lot of warning, and we won't get to see it in the sky until it's on us. I think the NASA timeline is completely off. I think this thing's going to arrive much earlier than they say it is. You know, I know they're saying October, but, you know, if you look at the, you know, now, I was told that the poles are not shifting at 42 miles a year. They're shifting at 42 miles a day. And the reason is because this planet is rolling over to face this thing. Now, when it goes by, it's not going to push our North Pole away. It's going to grab our southern pole with its northern pole, and it's going to be like somebody kicked this planet in the ass. That earthquake that it talks about in Revelations, when the opening of the sixth seal comes, from what I've been told, that's very accurate, because that's exactly what's going to happen. There's going to be a massive earthquake when it locks onto us. As it goes past us, we're going to follow it right upside down. The oceans are just going to be roaring from pole to pole, as you could well guess they would, because if you take a planet that's 7,000 miles across and roll it upside down in 30 minutes, you're going to have some real serious problems with wind and water. We should be preparing to expect this thing to show up any time.
Eternal Black Project 1. FBI CIA alert. Could El Niño have somehow had an effect on Jupiter's massive surface? First, let's watch this 1-minute weather.com video report on the matter.
In this installment of the weatherspace.com video edition, developments on Jupiter has transformed the appearance of the solar system's largest planet. One of the two main cloud belts on Jupiter has completely disappeared. Now, we're not talking about fading here, folks. It has completely disappeared. Take a look at these two pictures. They say it's a big event, but they're monitoring the system very closely, and they do not fully yet understand what is going on. Of course not. We don't know what's going on. We haven't lived for millions of years to see all this stuff that goes on with the planet. Something might be going on with the solar system that we don't know about. This picture shows before, August 4th, 2009. You see the belt, and then take a look at after, on May 8th, 2010. Look at that. The belt has completely disappeared. Now, what would trigger something that disappeared? In my opinion, it will probably be something to do with the weather patterns, probably the upper atmosphere messing around with the planet's clouds. But guess what? Now, that doesn't stop right there. If it affects Jupiter, can it be a global event? They always say the sun controls.
Using NASA's own JPL database browser, let's take a look at the alignment of Jupiter and the comet El Niño between the months of October 2009 and March 2010. This 5-month period is right smack in the middle of the time period in which Jupiter's surface was apparently whipped into a frenzy. Could the brown dwarf star El Niño somehow be related to Jupiter's recent loss of one of its two prominent surface belts? Scientists have been stunned and disturbed trying to figure out what mysterious cosmic force might have caused sufficient turbulence on Jupiter's surface to have caused this massive planet to lose one of its prominent stripes of gases and clouds during those 9 months. Jupiter is hundreds of times the size and mass of Earth. Even if its loss is just temporary and are a result of extreme surface turbulence, the planet's perturber must be massive. This Jet Propulsion Laboratory database browser will effectively allow us to track the alignment of El Niño and its relationship with Jupiter during this period of cosmic chaos. Notice the vertical yellow line across the center of the browser with our sun seated in the middle seen as a red dot. This vertical yellow line also serves as an alignment reference on this browser. El Niño is the blue dot on the blue elliptical oval. The planet Jupiter is the outermost green dot on the largest white circle furthest from the centered sun. Also notice the dates in the bottom right corner. This date changes to coincide with positioning of the planets during the motion of this animated JPL browser. Notice that Jupiter and El Niño were in exact alignment as well as approximate alignment much of the time between October 2009 and March 2010. These are the exact months Jupiter was mysteriously disturbed. You see how El Niño and Jupiter straddle the yellow alignment marker throughout much of this time. Note, that on this exact date of February 27, 2010, Earth's axis was shifted and Chile experienced the massive 8.8 quake. On this date, February 27, 2010, Earth was precisely aligned with C2010 El Niño, causing Earth's axis to shift. This is certainly no mere coincidence. Well, as you can see, there's much more to El Niño than's being reported to the masses. This is Planet X, the destroyer, also known of as Nibiru. I believe we might just have found the reason why Jupiter's cloud belt was perturbed during those months. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to Eternal Black Project 1. Seek truths.
Hey everybody, doing a quick video on Comet Elenin, Planet X, Nibiru, whatever you want to call it. The Sumerians called it Nibiru because Nibiru, it literally translates to the planet of the crossing, crossing being as crosses in front of our sun because it's on an elliptical orbit. It's actually in the southernmost part of our solar system. If you take and imagine that our solar system, all of our planets are on an elliptical plane, which they are flat. They're almost like on a piece of paper. This comet, as you can see right here, is underneath us, and it will actually cross directly in front of our sun. Since in relation to where we are going to be boom. If you look here, I don't know, at the beginning of September, if you see this thing's going to start coming up to cross in front of us, the crossing of the planet of the crossing. Anyways, and at this point, we're going to race it for a couple days. And even in Matthew, in the Bible, Jesus says, I think he's talking about when he comes back, or when the end of times comes, that the skies will turn black for a few days, or turn dark. And well, look at a couple days, we're going to be racing this thing. So even if it's a comet in its position here, even if it wasn't 4 times the size of the mass as Jupiter, which is like huge, because I don't know if anybody knows anything about Jupiter. Anybody? It's really big. Anyways, so even if it is a comet, you have the let's say it's a comet the size of, because NASA won't tell you how big it is. That's the biggest problem I have. That's why I don't talk about it much, because I can't prove its size and mass, and at this point it could be just a little comet, but I don't know. It's on the same path, of 3,600-year orbit of our sun. It crosses in front of it. It's on an elliptical. It seems to be having an effect on our planets. I mean, if you go back to March 11th, this is just one day you can go look at the Christchurch and all that stuff. The last 4 major earthquakes that we've had, you can go ahead and go back, use this diagram, and you can see for yourself that we're pretty in line with this thing. The sun. These alignments. Think about if something 4 times the size of Jupiter is pulling on Earth. Every once in a while we are aligned with Jupiter. And in fact, if you look at this, let me adjust this here. At this point, it's a pretty close alignment here, but it's not. It's not a full alignment. I would say Elenin, Earth, the Sun is more of an alignment there. But that's an old. Let's run back. This is NASA's. These are updated. Another thing that keeps changing with this thing is the closer it gets to Earth, the closer these the more the measurements change as far as its closest approach to Earth. Now they got it down to 0.03 AUs. An AU is the distance from the Earth to the Sun. So you take that and you multiply that, which you just multiply it by 0.03, which is very close. It's damn near a little over half the distance to the Moon. I think, I don't. This is something you'd have to look up. I could have more information for you, but I'm just going to go through things. I'll post the links, and you can look at the shit yourself and look it up. Anyways, here's an article. Russian leader confirms the Pope. New planet arrival in 2012. Secret document prepared for Prime Minister Putin by Russian Minister of Foreign Affairs is claiming that President Medvedev confirmed in his extended meeting with Pope Benedict that the new planet named Tyche, this is by NASA. NASA rendering will be appearing in the Earth night sky by 2012. By 2012. Okay, Tyche is suspected to be 4 times the mass of Jupiter, with an orbit around 15,000 times further from the Sun. What they mean about the orbit is 15,000 times the orbit from the Sun is it means it's way out here. I mean, look at its orbit. You understand, 15,000 times. It's on an elliptical orbit, same thing as the Sumerians talk about. I mean, the Sumerians told you the size, color, shape, mass, orbit, everything of Pluto, in all their ancient writings, and we didn't discover Pluto until like 1937. So that should tell you something there. Sumerians come from the Mesopotamia. They're 5,000-year-old culture. They kept records of everything in complete and total detail. As far even going to say that gods walked among them and they came from space. You can look all that stuff up yourself because, yeah, it sounds crazy, but why do you think there's no movies about the Sumerians and there's no movies about the Anunnaki? Because if you knew where you came from, it would change the game significantly. That's why I believe the ones that are in power are pagans and what they believe in because they know the truth. And so, anyways, they keep saying that it's just going to be a fizzle. It's going to be a little fizzle. Here's the artist rendition. It's a red one. There's also speculation that it has a couple rings around it. But as it's coming in towards Earth, and right now, it should be getting some horns on it because if you know how comets work, as they come around the object that they're going to orbit, they speed up just like a race car in a corner. It dips down tighter and it goes faster when it's going into them corners. It's called the boomerang effect. Go ahead and look that up. Anyways, you have all these movies coming out with all these aliens and stuff, and that TV show, The Event, shows the end of it with a planet showing up out just hanging out there by the moon. But the thing is, planets just can't come and just hang out next to Earth because I don't know if you know what gravity is and what magnetic fields are and stuff. But space is pretty crazy. Like, if you look here, we're not actually connected to any strings here. In actuality, we're just kind of hanging out in space. Literally, we're moving at such a high speed that, I mean, it's just crazy to think that I'm sitting here talking and we're moving. Shit, we're just spinning at like 24,000 miles an hour, let alone flying through the air around the sun. So anyways, if you look at this diagram, this ain't really a diagram, but this is Jupiter. So let's take this, and I mean 4 times the size of Jupiter. My problem with this whole thing is it's not going to fucking fit where it's got to go. But it don't matter. The magnetic field's going to be down in such a way that, like it says in the Bible, a red dragon, again, let's look at this because they're saying it's red. A red dragon will streak through the sky and it'll have a long, fiery tail. What happens with comets? Anybody? Yeah, they have tails. Why? Because they're moving at such a high speed when they go to pass around the object that they're orbiting, that the sun will illuminate the dust in their tail. Well, this thing's it's dragging shit with it. It might be dragging asteroid, might be dragging other comets, other planets. It's speculated also if you go to SOHO. SOHO is the solar observatory through Russia. It's a little thing that's orbiting the sun here. Someone actually studied SOHO and seen there's an object there that looks like it's got 6 other bodies orbiting it, and that is also it used to have 7. In the Bible it says the great dragon will have 7 heads. Is it 10 heads and 7 crowns? Yeah, whatever. Well, if you take the bodies around it and then their moons and blah blah blah, it's basically a solar system orbiting inside of our solar system, just as our sun orbits around Alcyon. Alcyon that's the Mayan doomsday calendar. Alcyon is one orbit of our sun around that star is one age. It's the Mayans, it's just a changing of the age. 12 to 13. 13 is really 1 to them. Anyways, so this solar system's orbiting us. We are orbiting it. And I'll tell you what, I mean, if we are getting that close to orbit around this thing, I mean, there's a lot of catastrophic things that all happen all at once. Not to mention we have Honda P45, which is another comet coming in November, and by NASA's diagrams, it runs right into us, and it's pretty big, so if this thing don't fuck us up, that will. Anyways, also it says in the Bible that the dragon will come and cast 1/3 of the stars from heaven to the earth. Well, we're going to pass through its tail over and over and over and over again. The tail is speculated to be like 5 million miles long at the moment, or 5 million light years long, or something. It's very long. anyways, it gets very close to us, and 4 times the size of Jupiter. It's not going to fit here. And here's the thing: this happens over and over and over again. The last ice age is predicted to be 12,000, 18,000 years ago. Now, if you take 3,600 times 3, you get 18,000. I mean, there's a lot of factors here that, and also the magnetic pole shifts, which I believe has already began and is already shifted a lot more than they're telling us. In order to get a massive magnetic pole shift, because at one time Alaska was on the equator, Sahara Desert was full of water, it was an ocean, they got whale bones and shit they found out in the desert. Anyways, they want to get you with this global warming bullshit, but really it's just the cycle of the Earth and everything. Anyways, so this body here being that size, I don't know if anybody's ever taken magnets that have north and south poles, tried to put them together, what happens? They flip. Well, that's what's going to happen to us, and it's going to be so fucking catastrophic that there's not much you can do about it. You can go in the ground and hide in the ground and blah, 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 just like they're doing at Denver with the swastika again. I don't know if I already told people about it, but I mean, they built a pyramid here. They built some crazy shit. You know, a pyramid. The pyramids, they are man-made mountains. You're going to have to be in the mountains and the caves, not to mention the flip's going to cause massive tsunamis. Also, our magnetic field is going to be down, and the magnetic field of that there's a possibility it's going to have such an impact on the human body that a lot of us ain't going to be able to take it. Not everybody's going to die, I don't think. This happens over and over again. You know, you're going to live. You're not going to live. Some people are going to live, but not a lot. Actually, like 98% of the population will be destroyed. But again, this happens all the time. So the Egyptians call it the destroyer or the Red Death. They talk about the 2 suns in the sky. Also the second coming of the sun, or some believe in it's the coming of the Antichrist because it does nothing but spread death. But again, the Sumerians called it Nibiru, the planet of the crossing. Like I explained, it will cross directly in front of the sun. And it's possible if it's 4 times the size of Jupiter, it will black out the sun. It's the sun's nemesis, Tyche. They've known about this since 1982, and just look into it. I'll probably do another video on it. It's hard to cram everything into 15 minutes. It really is. So I'll put the links and everything up. You can check it out yourself. If anybody has information on the size of Comet Elenin and can, show me the mass and size, whatever, email me. But yeah, that's what I got so far. I mean, the Sumerians, again, they knew every planet in the solar system. The Mayans knew of Alcyon. That's all they had to do. They didn't have TV and shit. So at night, when the moon come out and the stars, could you imagine what they could see? That's why they tried to build these towers. That's why they built the Tower of Babel. They wanted to get as high to the heavens as possible. They're trying to look at the heavens, the sky, the angels, the stars. Anyways, yeah, there's a bunch of movies coming out about aliens. The FBI has released a bunch of alien documents, flying discs. A bunch of UFO shit. So the NSA also released a report saying they have 29 messages from extraterrestrials. Now, if you go look at the document, it's a bunch of gibberish and a bunch of numbers and letters and shit like that. They don't tell you what the messages are. If you were a mathematician and knew how to do calculus and shit like that, I think you could figure it out yourself. Just Google NSA releases UF or ET messages, or NSA ET messages. You should come up with something. But yeah, this is going to be pretty catastrophic. This is coming in September. Unless the Russians are right and the first Comet Elenin is just a comet that it's under control of this thing. It's kind of like a Death Star thing. You got to think about this and look up the Anunnaki and the Sumerians and just understand their culture and where they come from, or where they say they come from. they spoke of it in such detail. It's amazing. And remember, they had batteries back then, so there's
you to vote on the news, and here's the winner. There's a huge hidden heavenly body right here in our solar system. Evidence is mounting that either a brown dwarf star or a gas giant planet is lurking at the outermost reaches of our solar system, far beyond the planet Pluto. According to the British newspaper The Independent, the object is 4 times the size of Jupiter. Experts say the presence of such a massive object could explain why a barrage of comets has been coming from that direction.